Welcome to Basso's Garage. I'm gonna try to show my setup here so you can see where I've been working and where all the future episodes are gonna primarily be shot. There's gonna be road trips, there's gonna be stuff on the highway, there's gonna be, projects in other places, I'm sure. I've got a lot of hot rodder friends who are into old cars too. But this is my humble abode. I live near Hartford, Connecticut. And I've got this 3-car garage set up for my own shop where I work on my own stuff primarily, and I figured I'd show you guys around a little bit. This is kind of the wrecking yard out front where everything's parked usually, unless it's sitting in there leaking oil. Everything leaks. There are stains all over this driveway that were not there when I moved in. So let's get started. Pretty basic setup. When the house was originally built, it was a 2-car garage. The previous owner added the human door here and moved, and of course added the 3rd bay and took the 2-car garage section and moved it over. So you can see the concrete pad there where there was just a 2-car setup here. And he added the 3rd bay, and then of course the storage space on the side too, which is awesome. So I've got my Mustang in here. This is the project that I plan to get to at some point. It's a 65 fastback, originally had a 6-cylinder, right now has nothing in it. Was kind of planning on keeping the 6, and then the 6 turned out to not be original to the car, so I kind of decided it wasn't really, critical to me to keep the original motor in it, or to keep what I thought was the original motor in. So when I learned it was not original, that kind of liberated me a little bit to be more creative with this. I've got 302s laying around, so I'm probably going to put one of them in this car at some point in a 5-speed. I really want to stick. It is kind of my dream car. I was looking for it for a long time, and it was hard to find one that wasn't already restored, and this one being a 6-cylinder and kind of a plain Jane car with not a whole lot of options, it was affordable. So I scooped it up kind of the middle of last year, and it's sort of been sitting in this state that whole time. I put some new rear frame rails in it because they were shot, and I kind of patched up a couple spots in the floor, and so that all got Rust-Oleum kind of undercoated, and the front end was pretty good, didn't really need much. The battery tray was shot, that whole inner skin had to be replaced, but otherwise the car was pretty clean. Somebody put some quarter skins on it at one time. It was factory Wimbledon white, and somebody painted it this dark blue at one point, and then started kind of doing a resto or something, and they were stripping the paint away, and then it got stripped out. The interior was that light blue color. You can see the steering wheel. It's like a 2-tone blue. So I plan to go back to the factory Wimbledon white and keep the nice blue interior because it's in pretty good shape, and hunt down a 289 or build one of these 302s that I have, and a stick, 4-speed, 5-speed, something, disc brakes. And I'd like to put air conditioning in this car too, which is kind of unusual for me. So we'll see if that ends up happening or not. I'd like to take this car out and like cruise in it, not in greasy, slimy clothes, and enjoy it and have it be nice, which doesn't fit the rest of the theme. So that's why it's sitting right here and never getting put together. But anyway, decent space in here. There's heat, which is really awesome in the winter. I live in New England, it gets cold in the winter. That's kind of plumbed to my boiler, so I can come out here on a cold day, turn the heat on, go inside, make a cup of coffee, and then by the time I'm back out here, it's nice and warm in here. That's really nice to have. I used to work at TRW, that's why there's TRW stuff hanging around everywhere. TRW was steering and suspension and brakes and all kinds of automotive parts, and now it's gone. They got bought out, but so anyway, the shelving was all kind of here. It's in decent shape. I'm probably going to tear it down at some point and redo something nice. We'll see. It's kind of working for now, but some of them are bowing, and I've got like brake drums holding up my toolbox there, so it's not really totally ideal. The previous guy put this workbench in and he did an awesome job. It's really great. I hung a couple LED lights here so that I can actually see, and I do my carburetor rebuilds and, you know, my little stuff on this workbench really well. So I got some speakers out here and an old clapped out receiver that I got at the flea market probably for free or $5. Just about everything in this garage has come from some weirdo used yard sale or flea market or something. So if it's free, it's for me. And it kind of ends up in here along with a bunch of borrowed road signs. So anyway, this is my shop, and there's 220 plug over here too. I have a 220 welder in the corner over here. I gotta get the plug made for it so that I can actually use this 220 setup, because I think there's a 220 plug back there. So anyway, pretty good little shop. It's nice that it's connected to the house. I can just come out here and I don't have to trudge through the snow in the winter or whatever. It's right here. So the parking out here is great too. I keep the cars outside for the most part. None of them are really nice enough to warrant space in the garage because I'm usually working on something. Of course, the 65 has been sitting in there because I kind of want to make that one nice and I don't need it to rust away. But everything else is just kind of cars, and that's okay. That Mustang was actually my first car when I was in high school, and I've got plans for it, but for now it's a 6-cylinder, 5-speed, kind of just driver. Got 100,000 miles on it. It runs okay. A couple old Ford trucks. It's a 78 here and a 68 next to that. They are projects I'm working on. Trying to kind of resurrect this truck. That was a cheap find locally that was kind of abandoned for a long time, and I've been kind of tinkering with it a little bit to get it running and driving again. This truck's got a 302 in it, and my buddies and I pulled it out and I cleaned it up and painted it and made it nice, and so this should be fun. That's out of an 80s Mustang, and there's an AOD automatic behind it, which should be kind of good for cruising. And I think this truck lived a little bit of time down south, Virginia or something, because it's relatively rust-free, apart from the bed was shot, so they took it off and built that wood bed. Somebody painted it. It's kind of close to the original weird green, jade green metallic. Cool rig. I plan to get it kind of fluffed up and then sold on to the next guy so he can enjoy it. This truck I just picked up from South Carolina, and it's a 68 F100 long bed. It's got a 390 in it and a 3 on the tree. And that 3-speed is wounded and probably will be coming out shortly. I actually have a 4-speed somewhere in the shop sitting on a dolly or jack stands. So that's gonna go find its way into this truck shortly. That's kind of one of the next projects too. The Cougar is my driver. It's a 68 model. Had a 302 and an automatic transmission, and was pretty much a total plain Jane car. Drum brakes, manual steering, kind of no options. Came from Montana. Again, same deal, kind of a weird car that was laying around. No one really wanted it, sort of abandoned. Scooped it up on Craigslist, kind of as just a non-running, you know, car with not a whole lot of history, and tinkered with it, drove it around stock for a little while, and then now it's got a roller cam 302 and a 5-speed and 8.8 out of an Explorer in the back and disc brakes, and it's pretty much my daily driver in the summertime. I really enjoy this car. I drive it everywhere. I put that kayak back there on it on the roof, and I take it camping, and I drive it like I stole it. So this thing's been through hell and back, and I plan to kind of hold on to it for a little bit longer. It's been really good to me. It's been a lot of fun. So that's kind of the current crop of stuff that's going on now. A little preview into my shop space here, and I plan to shoot some video, kind of tech, kind of entertaining, hopefully, and it should be pretty good. So there probably will be stuff kind of stored around here too. That crap Explorer has been in my family since new, and it's kind of heartbreaking for me to get rid of it, but that's probably going to be the donor 302 for the 65. And of course, I've got to put these trucks to work because I keep stashing junk that I got to throw out. Anyway, Basso's Garage. Stay tuned. I'm going to try to shoot some video and do some tech and have some fun, and this is where some, most, maybe all will be happening. I'm sure my friends will be involved too. Thank you, everybody. Take care.